Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Good morning to you. It is Coffee Ann time on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. Across the table from me, Dave Richards. Hi there, Dave.
Hello.
Nice to have Dave here.
It's
as
me.
Well. It is you.
What do you know?
And we expect to be joined by Melissa Murray soon enough here on the Coffee Ann program.
Yes.
Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240. First thing I want to bring up and just say thank you.
You're welcome, Joe.
I didn't see you, though. On Saturday, Autumn Fest had our tag day. We were in two locations in the city of
I was
Woonsocket.
right here.
I was at Park Square, and we had another group of people over there at the corner of, or the perpendicular of Hamlet and Cumberland Street,
Sure.
where the bridge is. And so we thank everyone that donated to us. It was always appreciated. And just a couple of notes that I've noticed from Tag Day. I almost saw one accident, which isn't bad. Usually I see close to 2 or 3 different close calls. This year, only one over there at Park Square. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning.
And this is how it worked out. The Dollar Tree or the Ocean State Job Lot was getting a delivery from a big 18-wheeler.
Yep.
And so he backs up off of Park Avenue, and you can only go so far, and the cab is sticking out onto Park Ave, and he is blocking people going that way.
Right.
Wait a minute. That doesn't work on the radio.
Which way is going towards Hamlet Avenue? Which way is that way? Is that south?
That's north.
Which
Is that
way?
north? Going that way.
North.
Going north. Thanks.
Yes, that is north.
All right. It's blocking cars going north. They have to wait for the people to clear that are going south to go around them. Okay. I am standing at Park Square looking north up the road as the cars are coming at me, so I don't want to get hit. And so I can see everything that's going on. Well, a car about 3 cars back had finally had enough.
Oh,
And he
tries to pass everybody on the right.
Pulls out into the southbound lane and floors it. There's a car coming in the other direction. I'm like, here we go, head-on collision. And no, they didn't head on. The car coming south was able to swerve out of the way.
Awful.
So nothing. So there was no collision. I'm like, wow. And then when that car that swerved out of the way got up to me at Park Square, they actually gave me money.
Oh my gosh.
For Autumn Fest, and it was a kid, 16 or 17, that was driving with another person in the car, and I was able, because we had a red light, I was able to tell him, hey, you were right, that other person was wrong, and if an accident happened, I was going to be your witness.
Yep.
And he said, oh, thanks, that would have been great. So,
Oh my gosh, I'm sure that scared him.
I'm sure it did, because here comes the car's coming. He's doing everything
Head
right,
on, right.
and this car's coming right at him. So
People are too impatient.
yes, so that was the only near accident I saw on Saturday. What else amazed me about being able to see into people's cars for such a long period of time, because I was out there for 4 hours? The amount of people that still smoke in their cars is very high.
That's so weird.
It is weird, and I think that's the only place they get to smoke. So there's a lot of smoking going on in cars, and the amount of people that still do not use hands-free devices for their cell phones is
everybody.
staggering.
Really?
Everybody, phone up to the ear, one hand on the steering wheel, yak, 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 yak. That's
No.
all. Oh yeah.
Seriously?
It is a high number.
But the cars and the radios all have it now.
I know, but they just don't use it. And I'm like, boy, because that's what I said. I said, you have a hands-free device probably, but even if you don't use it. But oh no, so there's people giving me money. There's one hand's giving me money, one hand's on the phone, one knee on the steering wheel.
At least they're talking on the phone and not texting, because you can keep your eyes on the road at least when you're on the phone, which you can't do when you're texting.
I didn't see anybody texting, so maybe,
That's good.
I've got to look for the silver lining.
Right. Oh, I try.
But the amount of people talking with the phone right up to the ear is still remarkably high. Higher than I think it actually should be. But anyway, thanks for everyone that donated for Tag Day. All right, this past weekend, we kicked off high school football here on ON Radio. We had 2 really good games. Cumberland defeated Berkeley Berkeley Somerset. It's Friday night, and then Saturday the guys were out at Burrillville, where Barrington defeated Burrillville. But we had the first time ever, I believe, where we have a delay during the game, and it wasn't rain, and it wasn't lightning, it wasn't thunder, it wasn't snow. It was a drone delay.
A drone delay.
A couple of them.
Yes. Now, I've seen this happen. I didn't know it was a rule in high school football. I've seen it at McCoy Stadium. I've seen it up in Polo Park. If a drone comes over the field of play and stops, and just hovers, play stops. They don't know who's doing it. They don't know what they're filming. They don't know what it's all about. So nothing stops until the drone flies away.
Right, they're youth. You can't, right.
And so, I mean, an announcement is usually made over the PA in case the person flying the drone is in the stadium, which usually it's probably not.
Right.
But nothing's going on, they fly away. So you said there were 2 drones at Burrillville, Dave?
There were 2 drone delays.
2 drone delays. I see. So they came over and hover, and so the rest will just stop the game and wait until the drone flies away. And eventually, who's ever watching per drone is just, all right, this is dull. There's nothing going on.
Right.
They're waiting for me to leave, so they got to go away.
Something we never anticipated.
Well, no. And I'm gonna
having to worry about.
I'll make the assumption that the one at the high school football game is probably a student of either school.
Yeah, okay, you can make that assumption.
I'm just going to make that assumption.
Sounds like a safe one.
Yeah. And either they couldn't get to the game or they are at the game and wanted to see how this works out. But there's a little PSA announcement.
Don't fly a drone over a high school football game or any game.
Or any game. They're going to stop the game until you fly away or until someone shoots it out of the sky.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what happened in high school football. So, and this coming Friday, it's going to be one of a kind. High school football doubleheader in 2 different locations. First game at 3:45 at Barry Field.
See, we're not going to have a game on Saturday. We're going to have 2 on Friday.
2 on Friday. So
this has to do with the fact, I don't know if everybody's up on the fact that because of a shortage of bus drivers and a shortage of officials, the people who schedule these games are going nuts. Mm-hmm. And they're trying every which way to try to get all the games in. Like, for instance, I mean, everybody who was listening to Casey Kasem this Saturday afternoon deserves an apology because that game was supposed to be played
at noon.
No, there were 3 different times. One of them was 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Another time, the one that we relied on, was noontime. Mm-hmm. And then they just moved it.
On Thursday
to 2:30.
Yeah, just randomly. Yeah.
Right. And so you never got a chance to hear what number 1 was.
Yeah.
Because we had to, switch over to the football game. Not only that, we lost a half an hour out of Bruce Palmer's Saturday night block party. He didn't get on till 4:30. It's not because we're stupid, folks. It's because they're moving the games.
Yeah.
It's like nailing Jello to the wall. What are you going to do?
So this Friday, the first game we're going to have on is going to be at Barry Field at 3:45, and then the next game's at 7.
We hope
6.
It's going to be at 3:45.
Yeah, and that's going to be in North Smithfield. Now, what I told our play-by-play guy, Kevin, I said, you should make it over there, and the good thing is follow the referees. The same referees in Barry Field are going to be the same referees in North Smithfield, so the game is not going to start in North Smithfield till the refs get there. So follow them.
Well, that's one way of looking at it. Yeah. Maybe they might go out to eat or something like that.
Oh, there won't be. I don't think there'll be time.
Yeah. So you're right. That's that's probably good advice. I think that we're going to do. I mean, this is like everything else in life. You adjust the best you can.
Yeah.
And you do the best you can. And if there is an issue and somebody's unhappy, the best you can do is apologize, and the best you can do.
Okay, so that's coming up this coming Friday. Of course, the New England Patriots kicked off the football season in Gillette with a loss, and
gee, did they look bad?
Well, no.
In the first quarter.
No.
Don't give
Dave,
me that.
No.
Don't give me that. I know sports better than you stuff. I'm looking at the game and they look bad.
Sports a lot better than you. The offense looked bad in the first quarter and the third quarter. The defense was good throughout. Special teams was good throughout.
Can't play half a game, Joe.
I know.
These guys are pros.
And that's why they lost.
I mean, if all of us left the studio at 8:30, what kind of program would that be?
But it wasn't like they were lousy the whole game. They were lousy in the first quarter, and they were lousy in the
Matter of fact,
third
I'm going to
quarter.
prove that point. I'm going to leave the studio now and see where you go.
All right, fine. So Melissa, they were lousy
You
in the
can't talk
first
about
quarter.
sports.
I'm just
with me.
telling you. I'm
No,
not
I know
going
you're
to ask
telling
any
me.
questions.
I know.
They were lousy in the first quarter, and they were lousy in the third quarter, and that's why they lost. They were down almost immediately, 16-0, and at halftime they were only losing 16-14. All right, we're right in this. And then the third quarter they tanked, and
that was it.
And that was it. And then they got another touchdown, but they couldn't get the 2 points, and the other team kept kicking field goals, the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's just they have the offense has got a lot to work on. Mac Jones, who I'm not a big fan of, did a lot better. Although every time he had to throw the ball that was longer than 10 yards, I was nervous. Like he's not good on those long throws, and it's killing me. We did get a note that was called in, and it's got to do with football, but not to do with the game. It just says a crazy stat. The NFL says they're going to bring in $20 billion in revenue this year. Okay. Now the average ticket for a family of 4 to go to a Patriots game, $837.85.
Wow.
Sixth highest in the league. Overall league average is $646.88.
That's still
yes,
an exorbitant amount of money.
The highest is Las Vegas. $1,381.96.
Yikes! That's insane.
Yes, as the old song goes, another year older and deeper in debt. Now the usual, football is not like baseball. We take the family.
Excuse
of 4.
me a minute. I noticed that you didn't take the camera off me, and when I left the
sorry
room,
about
so
that.
I figured I'd come back and give something to look at.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Not that I want to be here or anything.
Football is different than baseball. Baseball, you do take the family of 4. Football is different. You usually just take the family of 4. Usually it's a group of. You usually don't take too many kids.
Yeah.
This is more of a
Especially when it's going to be raining and you're trying to teach the kids to come in out of the rain.
Well, you don't come out of the rain. You paid for the tickets. Right, anyway.
Especially if you paid that much.
My comment was they kept showing the picture of the rain coming down. It was pretty steady in the first part of the game. And then I looked in the background of that same picture because they were shooting from behind a player's bench as the raindrops were bouncing off the top of the bench. And I looked and I saw there's 70,000 people who don't know enough to come in out of the rain.
Well, there's no place to go, Dave. There's only the luxury boxes, they can get in out of the rain. But most of the places, you're out in the elements out there. And if you're paying $200 a ticket, you're watching the game.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And it did stop raining in the second half.
Eventually, I told everybody that.
That was nice. It was nice to see Tom Brady being in his ceremony. I did watch the whole thing afterwards, and they are waiving their 4-year waiting period, and they're going to induct Tom Brady into the New England Patriots Hall of Fame this coming June. June 12th, 2024.
6/12/24.
Yeah, get it? 12.
Yeah.
I'm sure they asked me ahead of time, you doing anything on June 12th? And so that'll be nice. And now they always did the.
Sorry, Bob, that's not good for me.
They always did the induction ceremonies into the Hall of Fame outside Gillette Stadium, in Patriot Place, right outside the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Too many people are going to come. We're moving it inside the stadium. It's like, smart move. Okay.
It's going to be packed.
Yeah, but you can only get 70,000 in there.
I know.
Gee whiz, I don't know what you're going to do.
It'll be sold out.
Be more than that wanting to get in there.
I wonder if they'll sell tickets to it. It used to be free to go to this thing.
It should be free.
Yeah, it might not be.
But then you got to pay. You're moving
Bob
it inside the stadium.
If I know Bob Kraft, he's selling
but
tickets.
you got to pay for the fire. You got to pay for the police. You got to pay for. Oh yeah, once you open that place up to the public, there's a lot of expenses.
Well, I've been there for events where you could go out into the stadium and down onto the field, and I didn't see any fire.
You have to pay for the lights.
It's going to be during the day.
Yeah.
No lights.
Well, you know that they put the lights on during the day.
So they'll find something.
Well, they do. And
charge for.
All right. So it was nice to see Tom there, and it's too bad they couldn't win for him, but hey, that's the way it goes. All right, we're going to take another break. First break here.
You see, Tom Brady is now starting to care about television.
Well, he has to. He's going to be on it soon.
Yes, right. And he's obviously being trained because the field announcer for the team, a very short young girl, either that or he's very tall. Okay, but certainly he was the man to be looked up to yesterday in that little interview. She's reaching the microphone up at the top of her arm's length there and asking some pretty fair questions there. And he was trying to give ecumenical answers on everything. He wasn't trying to be a Patriots homer, because he's being trained against that to be on the TV in his next life. And he was talking about, this part of the life is over. We're moving on to another part over there, and the rest of that. But he actually made a point of looking in the wrong direction. And then finally, he realized which camera was looking at him. Yeah. And he looked at it and he acknowledged. I said, "I see this camera over here." Yeah. And he looked right into the camera afterwards. Yep. And I said to myself, "Boy's being trained." As an athlete, you don't even care which camera you're looking at.
Oh no. That's why they usually only send one. Make it nice and easy. Don't want to be too taxing on the athletes. All right. Comments and questions can be called in 766-1240.
And when we return, you can ask me about 60 Minutes.
Do I want to?
No.
When it comes to heating and air conditioning, Kafin Oil believes in covering all the bases. Whether you're a customer or not, they'll give you a time estimate for response, and they'll be there. Dealing with contractors can sometimes be an adventure, but their experienced technicians will assess the problem and explain what should be done. Kafin Oil is local, dependable, and experienced. Keep the number handy, 765-3881. Kafin Oil, for heating and air conditioning.
Hi everybody, this is Bill Schneck with the Autumn Fest Steering Committee. Autumn Fest 2023 is almost here, and I am very excited to announce that the 2023 Autumn Fest raffle calendars are now available here at this radio station, WOON AM and FM radio, 985 Park Avenue. The Autumn Fest raffle calendars are still $10 each, and this year the total prize value is over $12,000, our highest ever. During the month of November, a drawing will be held every day. If your name is drawn and you win that day, your name will go back into the daily drawing, so you could have multiple chances to win. The calendars will also be available to purchase during our 45th Autumn Fest celebration being held this Columbus Day weekend, October 7th, 8th, and 9th at World War II Veterans Memorial Park on Social Street here in Woonsocket. Calendars will also be available with any members of the Autumn Fest Steering Committee. All proceeds from the sale of the Autumn Fest raffle calendars will be used to offset expenses incurred during the Autumn Fest weekend. I look forward to seeing you, your families, and friends this Columbus Day weekend down at Autumn Fest. Thank you for your continued support over the last 45 years.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England. It is Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan along with Melissa Murray and Dave Richards. And Melissa, against my better judgment, I'm going to ask Dave. All right, Dave, what's your problem with 60 Minutes now?
Oh, it's the same one.
When
the game was over, Denise was
yes.
Hold on a second here. We got drama going on.
All right.
Did you turn on your email? Did you turn on your laptop to get email?
Me?
You.
Yes.
Joe Callahan.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See, we're trying to work on something over here, folks. What we have here is a failure to communicate. I just went on the website, and it looks like we don't have a TV stream, but we're sending it out. And it's reaching the servers. But, well, some people aren't getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, fine. Let me just catch up with what's going on live, because I'm trying to troubleshoot some engineering drama behind the scenes here, folks, and I'm very sorry not to have been paying attention to you, but just doing my job, you know? On 60 Minutes came on after the football game yesterday.
Like it always does.
Denise was watching the football game. I saw the first part of it, and I says, oh, it's going to be a long season. And then I saw that they came back before halftime, and I said, well, you know, maybe they decided to punch in and take the field. That's pretty good. And then they lost the game. But I said, well, at least they didn't get booted. As you know, at that point, I had already seen the ticker for the New York Giants game, 40-0 that they lost.
That's pretty bad.
And I said to myself, could be worse.
Yeah.
So let's not rag on the Patriots. So let's give them another chance, see what they can do next week. Okay, all good. 60 Minutes comes on, and they are doing a somber recollection of
9/11?
9/11.
Well, of course. Did you expect them not to do
Again.
it? Of course, it's the anniversary.
And I said, okay, fine. You know, there's a lot of people alive today who don't remember it, and
That's
this will
right.
be good
Which
for
is
them.
wild.
Right? But I said, why are they making this man cry and leaving the stinking camera on him?
Who was the man? Was it a
Some
family
guy who
member?
was a first responder.
Okay.
It's years later. They had a picture of him before, and it's years later.
Yeah.
And again, they're putting a camera on somebody, and they're making them cry, and they're leaving the camera on them. To me, this is the most despicable, cheap journalism you could ever get. I used to rag on Dan Rather by it. Obviously, it's the producer that requires this. 60 Minutes used to be the best news program on television, period, when I first started watching it in its infancy. It is now rubbish. I am embarrassed to be a broadcaster and see fellow broadcasters in this industry treat people that way in public. People who should be honored are being made to cry publicly on TV so that somebody can win an award or something. I don't even know what your motivation is for that. I'd be terribly embarrassed if my work went on the air that way. You don't treat other human beings that way. You just don't, and it's wrong, and shame on 60 Minutes. Thank
Okay.
you.
There you go.
I have a positive story.
Okay, well,
Well, I just wanted to relay that I went to Post 85 yesterday. I was supposed to
Yes.
have a show, and it was canceled. It was rained out.
Certainly was. Did it rain or what?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Although Denise and I were going to go to the Rocks.
Yep.
And we looked at it, and it rained, and it thundered, and it rained, and
Yep,
it
yep.
thundered, and it rained, and it thundered. I looked at the radar map. It didn't rain down at the Rocks till
I
after
know.
6 p.m.
I know.
We
I
could have
know.
gone and had a wonderful time at the beach.
I know. And my event was canceled. It was in Charlestown, and it
yeah,
didn't
well,
rain.
that was getting a little bit.
a
It was
little
threatening.
windy, but
It
right.
was
So
threatening.
out of
But
precaution, they
over in
did
East
it.
Matunic, it was nothing
Yes.
till
so
after
was-
6.
Right, right. But it was crazy up here. But I went to Post 85, and there was a lovely dedication ceremony for the hall, and they dedicated it to William E. Reynolds. It's now the William E. Reynolds Memorial Hall, and it just looks great. They renovated the entire place. I hadn't been there in a little bit. It was a very nice ceremony. I got to meet Bill's son, Ed, and learn all about his incredible life. And he was 99 when he passed, and what an incredible life, and just everything that he had gone through, in the past 100 years, right? Everything that you can think of. But it was a really nice ceremony. I saw Richard Lane there. I saw the commander there and the vice commander, and what a nice time. And it looked great. So that was very. I ended up being able to go, which I'm glad that I was.
well, fantastic.
Yeah,
All
it was
all
good.
right.
It was really good.
You talk about there are people that alive now that don't remember or weren't around during when 9/11 happened. My daughter's one. Born in 2005. She's a senior in high school, which means all the kids that are in college, none of them remember it either, or weren't
Right.
around when it happened.
It was,
So,
of course, like any other monumental thing that happens. I remember exactly where I was and what I
Oh,
was
yeah.
doing. I'm sure that you do too. Right. So, just unbelievable. I
Mm-hmm.
still remember it. Now I sound like I'm old.
Oh.
No, I sound like I'm old. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I
Like it
remember
was
where
yesterday.
one of those things that only the old people used to say when I was a kid. Like, oh, I remember where I was and what I was doing. But yeah, it never leaves you.
One of the good things and I always heard this that came out of what happened on 9/11 and I don't think it gets the recognition that it does. But as soon as the crashes took place, the FAA sent word out to every single airplane, land wherever
Yep.
you are,
Yep.
closest airport down. We'll tell you
Yes,
why.
yes.
When. And the amazing thing is that there were only 3 crashes. There were supposed to be more.
Wow.
Because I also heard that afterwards, when they landed, you got everybody off the planes, and they swept the planes. They found a lot more box cutters on airplanes, like going to L.A. and a few other places. So
Wow.
it was a little more organized.
Yeah.
Or a lot more organized.
Yeah.
But to get all the other planes down on the ground without incident, no matter where you were, was pretty remarkable. that took place.
Yeah, and you know what I remember about the days after that was that it was so quiet. outside.
No airplanes in the sky.
You don't even think about it when you just hear them as like background noise, but it was so quiet outside. It was eerily quiet.
Too quiet. Eh?
Right, right.
All right. Let's see. Other things going on. We saw the story today. We had a shooting in Woonsocket on Saturday night on Joffrey Avenue. Police
Another
Chief
one.
Thomas Oates, 18-year-old Woonsocket man, found shot outside. A 17-year-old was arrested, and he's being held at the Rhode Island Training Center. He's being arraigned this morning, felony assault and other firearms charges. 2 guns found in the area.
More and more gun violence. We're almost becoming
Immune to it?
immune to it. Right.
Yeah.
Like we're just accepting it now as
Yeah,
this
it's
is
just
the
the way it
way
is.
this is the way it is. This is the way we live.
It's all
and
part of the plan.
It's not okay.
Whose plan, Dave?
It's all part of the plan.
It's not okay.
What's the plan?
It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Not to me.
Right. Okay.
Well, what's
Never
the plan?
mind.
What's the plan?
Handguns will be banned in the United States.
Oh, you think that's where it's going?
Yes. This is why this is happening.